calm, measured, almost quiet, the voice of a man who has learned to speak to space rather than fill it. She looked at him for a long moment. Then she said, "You'll regret ignoring me," turned around, drove away. Raymond watched her go, then told the backhoe operator to keep digging. Wallace examined them carefully. The younger deputy stopped writing, and started reading. The land had been worth taking care of. It always had been, and it always would be. That was the whole arrangement. He was thinking about a cracked underground pipe. Soft ground along the western fence line that had no business being wet in the middle of a dry summer. Replaced holding tanks, and lived through a drought bad enough that the county once asked landowners to report who still had water to spare. So at 7:30 on a Tuesday morning, Raymond walked to the pump house, turned the main shut-off valve, watched the pressure gauge fall to 0, and went back outside to direct the backhoe operator to the wet patch near the fence. By any reasonable measure, it was nobody else's business. Raymond did not fully appreciate yet how much that was about to be tested. The land around the Holt Ranch had not changed much. But the neighborhood had. About 4 years earlier, a developer had built a subdivision on parcels east of the ranch. The homes were newer, the lots smaller, the lawns manicured, and the Homeowners Association was energetic in the way new organizations often are, lots of rules, not much memory. Deeply committed to the authority of her office, she drove a white golf cart through the subdivision every Saturday morning with a clipboard in hand, documenting violations. In her first 4 months, she had issued 47 fines, more than the previous 2 presidents combined. She had made exactly 1 silent trip past Raymond's property before any of this started. She had driven up near the line, looked at the fencing, the barn, and the hand-painted sign that read Holt Ranch, private property, no trespass. She stopped at the fence. She told him to stop work immediately. Raymond set the pipe down and asked, calmly, what he could do for her. She said the community's water supply was a shared resource. She said no one could unilaterally shut it off. Raymond said again, it was not a shared system.
Stop work right now. You are in violation of the HOA covenants.
We need to finish clearing this section before the rain hits this afternoon, or we'll lose the access road.
The community's water supply is shared. But that's exactly what you said last time, and nothing changed.
Nothing has changed, John.
You'll regret ignoring me.
Raymond collected all of them. Added them to a folder. Said nothing publicly. Donna, meanwhile, was escalating. She began photographing the ranch from the road. She posted on the neighborhood community page about an unnamed adjacent landowner violating HOA regulations and endangering the neighborhood's shared water supply. She never named Raymond directly. But the subdivision was small and everyone knew who she meant. Comments came quickly. Most residents took Donna's side. A few worried about water pressure. One person even asked whether the ranch had always been there. Raymond's daughter saw the post and called him. He told her not to worry. She said she was going to worry anyway. He said that was her choice. What Donna had not accounted for was the one thing that mattered most in any property dispute. Jurisdiction. The HOA's rules applied only within its legal boundaries. The Holt Ranch was not in those boundaries. It never had been. The property predated the subdivision by decades and had been expressly excluded when the developer recorded the original covenants. The HOA had no authority over Raymond's land, his well, his supply lines, or his repair work. Donna had issued fines she could not collect and cited rules that did not apply.
Don't you worry about that now. Everything's gonna be just fine. I love you too.
Instead, on the third morning, at 8:22 a.m., Donna called 911.
This is the ranch they told you about, the view they never showed you.
Before ending the call, she added that the man in question had been confrontational. 2 patrol cars were dispatched. Raymond heard them on the gravel road before he saw them. He set down his tools, walked to the gate, waited. He was not alarmed. He knew he had done nothing wrong. And after 31 years of owning land in that county, he had a solid sense of how these things usually ended when the facts were on your side. Deputy Wallace stepped out of the first vehicle. He had worked the district for years and knew the Holt Ranch well. He shook Raymond's hand and said they had received a complaint about a water utility dispute. Raymond said he had expected that. Donna had already arrived. She had followed the patrol cars and positioned herself inside the gate. A few subdivision residents had drifted over and were watching from a distance. Donna launched into her account immediately. The unauthorized shutoff. The violations. The danger to the community. The refusal to comply. Wallace listened without interrupting. Then he turned to Raymond and asked one simple question.
911, what is your emergency? Police are responding, what is your location?
Raymond had been ready for this from the first day. He understood what his father had understood before him. Land disputes are won on paper. He brought out a manila envelope from the kitchen table and handed Deputy Wallace the documents one by one.
Evening, optimization. Sheriff, thanks for coming out.
Evening. I'm Deputy Wallace.
Wallace, thanks for being here.
Then Wallace turned to Donna and asked whether she had any documents showing the HOA owned or had authority over this well. Donna said the HOA controlled community utilities.
Good morning.
Wallace said that
Please
was not
have your
what he had
identification
asked.
ready as we process
He
the
asked
line.
again, specifically, whether she had any document establishing authority over this particular well on this particular property. She did not.
These reports clearly show the negligence, Wallace. How can you sit there and ignore this evidence? People are getting hurt because of this inaction.
I know this looks bad, Deputy, but you have to understand the context. We weren't even supposed to be there that night. How long have you known he was here?
Then another car pulled up. County Attorney Gerald Finch.
You don't have the authority to close this road. Yeah. We have a court order, sir. Step aside.
He arrived with a briefcase. After a short briefing from Wallace, he opened a folder of his own. On his way over, he had pulled the original HOA filing documents from county records. What he explained next settled the matter completely. The founding documents stated clearly, the well remained private property, emergency access existed solely at the Holt family's discretion, and the ranch and its infrastructure were excluded from HOA jurisdiction. Donna had apparently never read any of it. Finch pointed to the relevant sections. Then he said, for everyone present to hear that Raymond Holt had the full legal right to shut off his own well for maintenance or any other lawful reason, and that neither the HOA nor any board member had the—
Right here. Section 3, paragraph B. Your permit is under review. You need to cease operations immediately.
Donna, now visibly strained, said she had acted in the best interests of the community. Finch said that was not the question. He asked whether she had known about the agreement before calling law enforcement.
The budget allocation for the next quarter requires careful consideration before approval.
Do you have any authority documents regarding this property, ma'am?
I need to see the documents establishing authority over this well. No.
The association operates under the established community bylaws and policies.
Let's try this one more time. I need you to be very specific about what you saw when you arrived at the location marked here.
I understand your position.
But I must insist you produce the required documentation for this land.
He said he was not going to arrest a man for doing lawful work on his own property. Then he added something else. He said that making a false emergency report about what was clearly a private property matter could create legal exposure for the person who made the call. Donna went silent. Her phone had been vibrating for several minutes. She looked down. Missed calls from multiple HOA board members. When it rang again, she answered.
I'm pointing this out because this specific phrasing dictates the ownership structure laid out in Section 4.
They've given us an ultimatum. We stand together, or we lose everything we've built here.
The law is on our side. We have the full legal right to this ranch, and we will not be moving.
I didn't want to believe it either, but it's true. They're gone.
It wasn't about me. It was about us. I acted in the community's best interest, and I won't apologize for that.
Did you know about the agreement before you called them?
I realize now that I should have reviewed the historical documents, but I did not.
Get off this land right now. You can't just take whatever you want.
Ma'am, we have a court order. Step aside. We just need your signature on these documents, ma'am.
I'm not signing anything. Deputy, I want him arrested immediately. He has no right to be here.
Raymond did not attend. His attorney did, to make sure everything was properly documented.
I'm not going to arrest a man for doing lawful work on his own property. False emergency reports carry legal exposure.
The board also passed a new rule requiring a 2/3 vote before law enforcement could be contacted on behalf of the HOA.
I understand the objections, but this matter is urgent. We have to act now.
This is your mess, Garrett. These documents prove negligence at best, conspiracy at worst. You need to contain this immediately.
As for Donna, she posted one final message on the neighborhood page before losing access.
You didn't consult the board.
You didn't consult the board. The attorney confirms this puts us at risk. This is a direct violation, exposing us to significant liability. Raymond, what I said was inappropriate, and I deeply apologize. I hope you can understand that it came from a place of frustration, but that's no excuse. I was wrong.
Raymond finished the repair.
We must address the structural issues immediately.
My client is prepared to file an injunction if you proceed without the proper environmental studies.
All in favor? All in favor?
Raymond said being angry at someone for not knowing what they didn't know was a poor use of energy once the matter had already resolved itself. They went back to work. A few days later, Raymond found a handwritten note tucked into the latch of his gate. It was from a woman named Carol in the subdivision. She wrote that she had believed Donna's post at first, and she was sorry. She said her late husband had grown up on a ranch, and she understood something about what it meant to care for land. Raymond read the note twice. Folded it carefully. Put it in his pocket. That afternoon, he drove into town, bought a loaf of sourdough bread from the bakery, and left it on Carol's porch without knocking. A few weeks later, Thomas Garrett visited the ranch for coffee. He asked about the well, the drought years, the emergency access agreement. Raymond explained the full history. Before leaving, Garrett stood on the porch, looked out over the land, and said it was a beautiful place.
Looks good. Solid connection. All right, let's move to the next section. Left you some jerky at the cabin. Nagus J.
That was the arrangement. By fall, the water ran clear through the new line. The pressure held steady. The ranch remained what it had always been, quiet, self-sufficient, and mostly untouched by the brief storm that had passed through it. Each morning, Raymond got up early, drank his coffee on the porch, and thought not much about Donna Marsh or the HOA or the patrol cars that had rolled through his gate that Tuesday in summer.
It's more than just land to us. It's a way of life we're trying to protect. I understand completely. We'll include that in the proposal.
Back in the 1890s, when this well was established, they put an emergency access agreement in place. It specifically does not allow for commercial use.
He thought about responsibility, about records, about knowing exactly what is yours and what is not.
The family had tried to give back what it needed. That was the arrangement.
134, Raymond said that was probably true anywhere people assumed authority before checking its limits. 135, Wallace laughed and said that described a good third of his job. 136, the land had been worth taking care of. 137, it always had been. 138, and it always would be. 139, that was the whole arrangement. 140, if this story moved you, share it. Because somewhere right now, someone is standing their ground on something that has always belonged to them, being told by someone with a clipboard and a golf cart that they need permission to exist on their own land. Let them know, the documents win. Read them. Keep them. Know them better than anyone trying to use authority they never actually had.